Welcome into All Things LA Real Estate. My name is PK Knoll, and I'm running point on this channel. This is your Mount Washington August real estate update. We're going to get into everything you need to know about Mount Washington. Very desirable neighborhood here on the Upper East Side of Los Angeles. We are probably going to be dealing with inventory issues. We're seeing some big declines year over year, but we're going to get into the current statistics. We'll look at some month over month stuff. We'll do some year over year stuff. And even with the low inventory, at the end of the video, we're going to do homes that have caught my eye, where I try and find you some value in the neighborhood. You can get out in Mount Washington, incredible spot. Let's see what's happening. So currently out in Mount Washington, there's a few things specifically that I'm keeping my eye on when I'm looking at the neighborhood. It's dealing with all the same issues we're dealing with across the country, especially here in Los Angeles, which is a lack of inventory and a 7+% interest rate that's scaring off buyers. So let's see what's happening. Currently, we do have 14 homes available for sale. 3 of those have seen price drops. The low end to get in the neighborhood right now is $899,000. So it's tough to find a home in the Mount Washington neighborhood for under $1 million. There are a couple of options available right now, but very desirable spot, very safe, good schools, nice little downtown area. On the top end, $2.25 million. Very interesting situation going on with that home. We're going to talk about it in the final segment of homes that have caught my eye. That's bringing our average to 1.432, 406. Now, typically the average in Mount Washington is closer to 1.15, but we do have that high ticket item over $2 million that's bringing up the price. And with only 14 homes available for sale, obviously that fluctuates it, but you can expect typically on an average perspective, 1.1 to 1.2 to get into Mount Washington. Average days on market. This is the number that I'm really keeping my eye on when it comes to Mount Washington. It's at 39 right now. So for homes that are available for sale, when the number's between 30 and 45, that's pretty typical. That's pretty average. When that number starts to jump into 60, when homes have been sitting for 2 months, that's when we're going to start to see a lot of price drops. That's when homeowners start to lose their patience. So that's the number I'm keying in on. If I wanted to get them out of Washington, I'm going to pay a 7% interest rate. It's very risky right now. You got to tread lightly. I got to find value. And where I find value is when homeowners get, anxious to sell their home, and I can find something maybe below a list price and certainly something that's going to be of value. Quickly looking at August of 2022, where we had 13 homes sell at 103% clip. That means 3% over the list price. That's very typical number there. We're not going to get back to 13, obviously, from a year over year perspective, because we only have 14 available, and that would be a hot sale, a fire sale, and that's not going to happen. But if you are looking right now, what's most relevant is most recent. So that's why we're going to jump into last month and see exactly what happened in July. Let's do it. In July, in Mount Washington, things are very, very slow. Low inventory, not a lot of people making the jump. Like I mentioned, there's not a lot of low ticket items in Mount Washington. So it takes a real commitment to go out and purchase homes right now. In fact, the last statistics in April of this year, 1/3 of all homes were bought in cash, and that continues to be the trend that we are seeing, as people do not want to take on a mortgage above 7%. To put that in perspective for you, if you purchase a home for, doesn't matter the dollar amount, let's say $1 million, over the lifetime of your loan, if you continue to stay on that 7+ interest rate, you are going to pay at least 1.5 just in interest. So it's risky to take on that type of mortgage right now. The low end last month was $560K. This was a project home. It sold $32K under the list price. This wasn't a nice, ready to move in single family residence. It needed work. The top end last month was only $1.375. It did sell for $75K over the list, 76 to be exact. But a nice little desirable home, but not too high, no high-end ticket prices. Like you said, if you look at the average right now in Mount Washington, it's over 1.4. Our high last month as far as sales was 1.375, which tells me we have a lot of higher ticket items still sitting in the market, which I expect to move that 39 days on market up as we transition into September. So we'll see how that goes. The average sale price was right around where we normally see Mount Washington, 1.131, 667. Days on market was 20. You're always going to see the sold houses typically between 20 and 35. So nothing there, kind of on the lower end. What that tells me, though, is when an attractive spot in Mount Washington becomes available, people are still trying to jump on that, especially when it's a home that has potential to appreciate. We look at July of 2022, 12 homes sold, 110% clip, so 10% over the list price. So things were still jumping off a little bit in Mount Washington last summer, but that is a 50% decline year over year. These are numbers that we are going to see consistently out in Mount Washington, and it's kind of unfortunate, but just the reality of what we're dealing with, because there's not enough homes available for sale, and we're going to be stuck like this for at least probably another half year, if not full year. Prognostics is that maybe 2025 we start to get relief and get back to a normal market. But let's see if we can find some value. Let's jump over to homes that have caught my eye and see what's available in the neighborhood. So homes that have caught my eye, there's a few glaring things here in the neighborhood. When we get into a few of these houses, we're going to get into the entry level, see what it takes to get in the neighborhood. We're going to do my favorite play, which is usually a finance move, something that has potential, especially right now. And then we'll look at the top end because there's some interesting aspects of that home that's listed over $2 million. So we're starting on the entry level, 4569 Alban Drive. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square feet. It's listed for $899K. Now, price per square foot is $1,284. That's way too high for a small home. Now, for a small home, 700 square feet, that number should be $400 or $500 per square foot. So this is kind of priced a little higher, though Mount Washington is more desirable. And like I mentioned before, not a lot of sales under $1 million. The lot is huge, though, so that kind of counterbalances it. It's over 27,000. This sits on the east side of Mount Washington. Incredible views. So if you're going to make this jump and pay $1,284 per square foot, the one thing that gives me some reassurance is the lot size and the possibility of maybe expanding on the house or bringing an ADU to supplement some of the mortgage. That's the only way I'm jumping on a deal with that high of a ticket price right now. Let's shift over to my favorite play. Interesting home here. We got 4524 San Andreas Avenue, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 784 square feet, listed for $1.199 million. A $1.199 million home that's only 784 square foot is kind of crazy. That puts it at $1,529 per square foot, and I hate that number. I hate it so much. It's one of the highest numbers. So why is this my favorite home? It's the potential plans. Now, they are unpermitted currently, but the plans have already been developed to develop a 3x2.5 and a 2x1. So multiple properties. You can see by the kind of plans here what that would look like. They look like beautiful things. The lot size is over 13,000, so there's certainly the room to do this. So you can not only have a place for yourself, single family residence, but it gives you an opportunity for a nice 2-1 ADU if that's how you want to approach it. Maybe it's a spot for investment properties. So don't look at this deal as a 2-1 784 for 1.199. Look at it as far as the potential goes. The only way I'm making this move is if I'm going to follow through the plans, go through the permit process, which can be a headache. So make sure you're prepared for that. You work with an agent who knows how to go through that process, and then I'm going to move forward with those plans. But that's kind of where the value comes with this home in the neighborhood right now. Let's jump over to the top dog. It's an interesting situation here. It's 824 Cynthia Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 2471 square feet. Mentioned at the top, it's listed for $2.25 million. Now, right off the jump, this seller's agent has said that they will buy down the interest rate $40K. Now, the home was built in 2021, so it's beautiful in that regard. You don't got to worry about anything there. It is in a cul-de-sac. You always love living in a cul-de-sac. Less traffic, less, everything when you live in a cul-de-sac, more private. So there's only been one sale over $2 million in Mount Washington this year. So everything in Mount Washington kind of stays right in that pocket, right? Right at a $1 million, maybe up to $1.5 million, keeping our average kind of on the lower end of that. But we don't see a lot of sales over $2 million. We've only had one this year. That home was listed for $2.098, if I remember correctly, and it's sold for $3 million. That is 33% over the list price. That is a crazy price. I'm going to assume this was a cash buyer because you can't pay 33% over list price at a 7% interest rate. That is nonsense. So don't do something like that, but that's what I assume. There must have been the dream home, the dream neighborhood, wanted to get into schools, had to make the move quickly, probably a cash buyer who made this move. But let's get into the 40K off the jump for a price point. So 2.25, let's say you're going to finance this and use the 40K. So let's assume you're smart and you had the 20% down. That brings your loan down to 1.78. Now, price on that. 18K is going to get you a point if you do the statistics on that. A point in the mortgage interest rate reduction is 0.25% interest. So let's break that down. I'm going to be generous here. Top end, assuming you got great credit, good relationship with the bank if you're buying this home. Interest rates are above 7. Let's go 6.75. Let's assume that's where you fall in. You got great credit, great financial history, lots of money in the bank if you're obviously able to put down, close to $300,000 in your down payment. So 6.75, we get 18K gets you 1 point. So 40K is going to get you about 2 points. So let's say that 6.75% drops down to 6.25%. That's going to save you about $600 a month off your monthly payment. At the 6.75, your monthly payment is $11,545. At the 6.25, it's $10,949. So a little over $600 a month over the lifetime of the loan. That's about 200K. So it's a nice little caveat there. It'll save you a little bit of money, a little bit of relief off the mortgage payment. It's weird that they led with the 40K price reduction in the listing, but they understand the times. They're not getting the attraction. Homes over $2 million are hard in Mount Washington. So they're really trying to do everything they can to entice people to make that move. So it's not the worst idea, but it's very interesting that they went this route. Beautiful home though, newly built, is something that you don't find a lot in Los Angeles. So might be an option. Thank you so much for watching the video. We do this every single month for almost every neighborhood on the east side. We're doing Pasadena, Silver Lake, Eagle Rock, Highland Park, Glendale, La Cañada, El Sereno, Cypress Park. The list goes on and on. So like and subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. If you're somebody who's looking to purchase a home on the east side of Los Angeles or sell your home, I am happy to help out with you. Reach out to me. You can send me a direct message online, or all of my phone numbers are listed. Even if you're somebody who's hesitant with 7% interest rates, that puts us in the same boat. It always helps to start preparing for future opportunities because you don't want to miss the boat there. We will tread lightly. We will look for value. We will get it done. I also do a ton of other videos. I get into the schools. I get into, the restaurants in the neighborhood. I get into the attractions in the neighborhood. I do some other fun videos like quick cribs. So once again, like and subscribe if you are so inclined. Have a great day. Be kind.
Yeah.